Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're here once again with further coverage of E3. Whoop, whoop. I'm joined today by Chloe.
Hello.
Morgan.
Hello.
Tom.
What's up?
And Kerry.
That's so funny because I was going to go, what's up? I did not realise you were
You're
clearly the brain cell.
Clearly a perfect match.
Yeah, clearly.
We can have two was-ups. That's absolutely fine.
Do it in unison. Ready? Mine's
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
What's up?
That came up on my mic.
Beautiful. And I'm Alex. And we're going to go delve into Saturday and all the fun and shenanigans that we had there.
Was there any chicanery to be had?
I think there was a little bit.
So really funny. I saw you when we were getting ready to monster, Kerry. And I was like, oh, Navarra monstering as well, because I forgot that you moved to Varushka.
It's just my old Navarre kit.
Yeah. Well, that must have been it, because then I saw Alex and Chloe later
You'd
on. And I was
forgotten
like,
your sword, right?
I forgot my shield. My shield. But yeah, Saturday was Druging. So you guys were fighting the Druge, right?
Yeah.
Was this your first time druging, Morgan?
My first ever Druge experience.
Me too.
I believe it's been 3 years.
Oh, it was so good.
And you've only just druged.
I was so happy because I bought my Navarre kit just hoping that I would monster as the Druge. And I didn't have anything suitable for any other monstering nation.
So, Lion Commander, what was the battle all about?
I'm thinking it was a very simple thing.
Killing.
So the thing is, like, Neve knows what the fuck is going on. Chloe does not.
I like how you've got two separate brains.
It was.
Have I put the spotlight on you? Do you want me to rescind this question?
Do you want me to get you like a
You could bring up the Winds of War, because it'll be on there.
There was just two. Cauldrons, poison.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was in the Runin, right?
Yeah, so we were in Thorunin, and there were 2 cauldrons full of mystery poison, and we had to ascertain what they were, create an antidote for them, and basically try not to spill them.
Seems simple enough.
Yeah, I mean, there was only 2 of them. It was fairly easy.
We were briefed, so we were playing. Oh God, I always get them. So I was part of the Dawn EMU. For those of you that don't know what an EMU is at this point, is essentially an organised group of monsters from each nation.
Say it by its name.
Elite Monster Unit.
Elite Monster Unit.
There we go.
And the idea is that you are part of that monster unit. You put a lot of effort into your kit for monstering, and you have identifiable groups from each kind of like each nation plays, because it could be like, okay, so these guys put a lot of effort into the kit, and it brings a lot of kind of like a strong kind of vibe to the battlefield that's kind of like these elite units. And we were playing the Druge, I think it's called Picard or Picard, who essentially are like shock troops, heavily armored, and everything they carry is looted. So they loot their armor, they loot everything kind of off the field. So I was like, perfect. So I took my surcoat that I wear as Tristan. I took one of my banners, which has got tattered ribbons hanging from it. I got my green tunic from ages ago, and I all just kind of hung it off my kit. So it was like trophies that I'd taken from kind of Dead Dawnish. Put some blood on there, because also before battle, the Picard cover themselves in blood. And it was very excited to be like really heavy, so like shock troop Druge. So go in, hit really hard, run out again. So that was kind of us getting ready. As Kerry said, I forgot my shield, so I had to march all the way back.
Loser.
But yeah, so what was the battle like for the guys actually battling?
Do you know what? It was pretty cool.
That's the most
pretty
tame
cool.
description of a battle ever.
It's pretty cool.
So moving on to mid-afternoon.
About 3:00. Yeah. Well, I was line captaining again, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, lost your voice, didn't you?
I severely lost my voice.
Well, we heard that last week.
Oh, yeah. to be
Yeah.
fair.
Well, I listened to it back and I sounded okay. I just sounded kind of quiet.
Yeah, I'd say it was a lot better than when we were in like the van on the way back, and you were literally like, you could tell that you were like trying to shout through like having no voice, but you were just so excited to talk all about the weekend.
I love this game, man.
It's
like
a great game.
I also have to hand it to Chloe. Next to me, anyone sounds quiet.
True.
Yeah. Maybe you should lose your voice for a bit, Tom. Give us all a break.
When well, nothing to do with this. When I lost my voice because of a cold, apparently I sound like Wacko from the Animaniacs.
Oh my god, he did. He woke up, and for some reason he had a Liverpudlian accent and everything.
It was weird.
No, it's because it was really congested. It wasn't that you'd lost your voice, but it was weird.
You gained a new voice.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because I think a few of us saw you guys fighting on the field.
Yeah.
I didn't see your cleavable thighs, Alex. I was sad.
Well, we were very much in the same place for like the whole fight,
Yeah,
but
so.
that doesn't mean it wasn't successful. It went really well. We even had refs coming up to us and saying like, "Hey, you guys, us Dread Shields, great fighting. Like it's just clean. It's like a lot of respect to you." We were holding a spawn point
Top game.
Yeah.
at Top Gate,
Yeah, we know.
just for like the whole thing.
It just happened by accident.
Yeah, it wasn't planned or anything. I was just straddling this log. So I had my shield in one hand, my sword, and we weren't to push. We just had to kind of stay there and hold the position. And I was just doing the splits over this log the whole time. Mostly like so no one else would back into it and fall over it and whatnot, because it was a massive trip hazard. And by the end of it, my trousers were just ripped right down the middle, like the whole way down. So that was a sacrifice that I made during that fight.
What a sack. Did your trousers get accommodation?
They did, yeah. They've got a little badge hanging off the gap now.
But yeah, for us it was okay. We entered the field. I was going to take my line to the right flank. Deadfall were going to take centre, and Embercast were taking left flank. Navarre were first on the field, so we were like, okay, cool. We're just going to sweep in, move up, and we're just going to push basically. My right flank was completely clear, so looked to see on the left and the middle to see if anyone needed kind of reinforcing for a bit. Everything seemed okay. So we kind of just pushed through the field, kept sweeping on the right, and we just ended up at Top Gate, in which we saw a load of Druge there. So we're like, cool, have a little scrap here.
I was that load of Druge.
Yeah.
Hi. So yeah, we kind of just ended up there. And that's where we remained for the entire thing. Because obviously they kept spawning from there. We kept getting flanked on the left. We knew if we were to pull out of there as well that we would like really fuck up the field. And like I think because Wintermark we're getting circled on the field anyway, so we're like we should not give any more. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Any more obstacles, I guess,
Yeah, sure.
for them to try and deal with. So we just held that entire Top Gate for the whole battle.
And it was great. We essentially had 2 rows of shields because it was quite narrow. So we had this system. It was like a conveyor belt. When they got shattered or struck down at the front, they would carry it back, and then the second layer of shields was there ready. So we were just impenetrable. And obviously we had the cleave machine, me and Steve. So I was able to get a few cleaves off because he empowers me, and then I've got 10 seconds to get a cleave off. So I turn into like a heat-seeking
Honing
missile.
missile.
Yeah. Just looking for a little bit of just
Bit of flesh.
or clothing or something in between all the armor until I can find something. But yeah, it was really successful. And as I say, like the refs and everyone else was coming up and saying what a good job we did. And then towards the end, when we were backing out, we had a very mighty force of Urizen.
Yeah, so I had sent a runner for reinforcements because there was a point like we were handling it, but we were very rapidly burning through herbs and things. I was like, we are tired. We need to just stop and take on water for a second. Like we were pretty knackered. I was like, all right, we need reinforcements just to kind of help ease this pressure. And so we had Black Scar turn up, and we had the Scarlet Guard, which is a group in Urizen, turn up. And it was fantastic. I was like, right, Urizen, you're taking the right. Black Scar, you're taking the left. Dread Shields, we're going to pull for a second. Because we also had Fate's Claw with us. And I think we just had like a few other little groups kind of tag along with us too. But yeah, those 2 filtered in perfectly. We pushed back, had a good second just to catch our breaths, and then we all got sucked back in again. And then we had the order that we were all leaving the field. So we, like the captain of the Scarlet Guard and myself, we had a bit of a chat. Black Scar headed off to go and reinforce somewhere else. So we were like, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We organised a retreat, and Deadfall and Edmacastle had reconvened with us at this point, and we just formed the sickest looking fucking Navari line.
Yeah.
Honestly, like Georg and Austin, with the two other line captains as well as me, we were just walking up and down our line waiting for Urzan, the Scarlet Guard, to pull out, because their job was to pull out behind us, like to lead the Druge to us, so we would hold it whilst they got to the other side of us, and we were just going to like relay it like that down the field, but they all kind of just wandered off anyway. But there was just this massive Navari line just stood there. We were walking up and down. I was like, God, we're a good-looking nation. Look at us. And it was really, really cool. But there were so many things that happened. I could spend the entire episode talking about it, but that's enough of my voice for a bit. How was it for you, Monstering, Kerry? Because it was your first time.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't my first time monstering, actually. I was the Jotun at one point last year when I was in Navarre. I went out with some of your lot, actually. But, you know, that was fun last year. But I got to say, I had the most fun monstering at this time. I teamed up with our friend Yada, and we were Barry and Larry, best of friends in the Druge army. We had our own little theme tune and everything. We were two Drugy boys, and we were marching out there, and then like Barry got knocked down or whatever. We were like running out. I was like, Barry, and then like one of the what they called fuel, what they called the slave people. Thralls. I always get them mixed up with the.
They're not. They are just slaves.
They are just slaves. Yeah. Anyway, I was really confused because I was like, "Why is this person without a mask not only healing us but also being like, don't stab me?" So it took me a beat to figure that out. But it was that role play so funny whenever they were healing us. There was this one guy in particular who he healed us a couple of times, and he was like, "Okay, this is gonna hurt, but don't stab me. Okay, you can't stab me." And like he was healing Barry at one point, and I was like, "Can I stab you though?" Just looked at me like,
Could I stab you?
"Can I stab you?" Though?
I think that
He
would
just
be
looked at me like,
brilliant.
As soon as he finished healing me, I was like, "Right, you've got a 10-second head start. Go." It was a lot of fun. Yeah, partway through the battle, me and Barry stepped back, like, because we lasted quite a while as monsters. Last time when I did it, I just kept dying every time I ran in. But me and Yada were doing pretty good at like getting a couple of hits in, running off, and then because there was some healing there, which was funny. But yeah, then Barry steps back, and Barry's just like, "Oh, sorry, Larry, I'm just not myself today." So I was like, "You all right, Barry? Everything all right at home?" Barry's just like, "Oh, actually, no. Wife's filed for divorce, hasn't she?"
Oh, dear.
So we're there having that heart-to-heart on the battlefield. Absolutely hilarious. Then we died, and we came back as the wives, Sherry and Kerry, only I wasn't Kerry, of course. And then we died very quickly, and I was like trying desperately to get a cleave off for the whole thing. I kept hitting people, but hitting their armor or missing or just getting cleaved myself. And like, there's just one moment as Sherry where I get cleaved, and as I go down, I cleave someone else's leg. And unfortunately, I hit armor, but it was fun. It looked cool.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
then we came back as Jimmy and Timmy, the kids, and they did survive, so they'll be back.
It
next
baffles me
time.
that you and Yada managed to stay together for that long during
I
monstering.
know.
Anytime I
Because
monster,
it was the first time I'd worn an orc mask, and my peripheral vision was shot. Honestly,
they're not the most comfortable
Yeah.
things. But every time I monster,
Yeah.
no matter who I start off with, I will not be with that person for the next after
Yeah,
the
yeah.
next
I think
5 minutes. They're
we were
gone.
very sort of aware of where each other were. I think we were both a bit scared to be like right in the front line as well, so we kept like going in a bit and then running back.
Yeah, see, I just get stuck
yeah.
straight
Yeah,
in.
exactly. And we fortunately both died at the same time.
Well, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Yada lying on the ground, and I wasn't sure if someone was healing her, but it turns out they were executing her. So I went to walk past, and I was just like, "Barry, I'm dead, Barry." It's Larry's ghost. But then they got up, and they were like, "No, I'm dead too." And I was like, "All right, okay, let's go." And then I had to fish someone's shoe out of the mud, because even though it was quite dry on like the actual like field, it was really wet in the forest.
I really enjoy temporary monster player interactions of like, oh, so I did it last time where somebody dropped their antlers, and I was like, oh, let me just get those for you. There you go. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
cheers, thanks. I was like, no worries.
Yeah. It's nice just like showing that little like player solidarity.
Remembering this is a game. We're all just here to have a laugh.
exactly.
It's just a game, bro.
Yeah, like, they hurt their ankle a little bit, like going down because it was like really uneven ground. So when we came back to monstering, I was like, okay, we can respawn, but like let's just like have a rest first. But then they were feeling better after not too long. So we managed to get back out, and I was like, okay, just let's go. Like we'll stay away, and then I think we were being a lot more careful after that to be like where there was even ground and stuff.
Yeah. Especially if you're not used to the field and the woods and stuff, like you have to be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And like again with the orc mask, when you can't really see where you're going.
Yeah.
So yeah, be careful, guys. But it's still lots of fun.
I had a great time monstering. When I was fighting you guys at Topgate, speaking of cleaving people as you're going down, we ran at you kind of to try and push our way through. And then I think I took a cleave to the leg, and I was still fighting on the ground. And as I went down, I clawed towards someone, cleaved the back of their leg as I went down. Which is just a really cool moment. This orc like scrapping, trying to rip your leg off, which was good fun. Then it was kind of like lots of dying, lots of respawning. There was towards the end though, the potions had been spilled over, and the ref was like, "Everybody here, venomed." So we got all venomed. The battle was basically done. They were starting to leave, but we hadn't been given the call to leave to break off. And basically, there was like strands of Imperials just hanging around because everyone was dragged out. So like we just ended up moving to cut people off. So like people would start to sprint, but getting in between them. So that was when like everything was going fine, and then towards the end of the battle, people started to die because people were starting to pull out, but not everyone was going with them. So a lot of people getting cut down. I took a really hard smack right in the eye, like a really horrendously unpulled blow. And the ref spoke to them, and they were like, I don't know what the result was, but the person apologised. But I was like, yeah, just that wasn't. They were like, I was aiming for your shoulder. I was like, yeah, well, if that was my shoulder,
doesn't matter where you were aiming.
Too hard.
Yeah. It's right. Important to pull your blows. I mean. Like,
you don't know what you're going to hit.
But yeah, you don't know where you're going to hit.
Even so, it doesn't matter where you're going to hit. You need to pull your blows anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is exactly why it's so important.
Because if you get slightly wrong, you're going to clock someone in the eye.
Like one thing, if you whack someone on a metal plate, arm or whatever, yeah, fair enough. But if you miss it slightly because they've moved and tried to duck or, whatever, then it can go straight in their face.
So yeah, not great. But the fighting was really fun. And then we were throwing... I'm going to brush it off as like a Druge intimidation tactic. We were throwing people back that were dead. Just kind of like, throw them in the corpse pile and lobbing people back. And we were all standing there and jeering. Who do I see coming past me being grabbed? But Bungle. I was like, oh no. So Bungle get thrown. I was like...
You're there having fun being all
But then the line started to move without Bungle. I was like, oh no. He's still here, guys.
My boy.
You forgot one. Come back.
But yeah, the end of the fight was like, that's when people started to die because
honestly.
It wasn't a very ordered retreat. So they just kept getting cut off.
Well, no, because we were told when we were like lining up to Monster, they were like, right, the Druge fight like this. They like you don't go in unless you're like, if you're outnumbered, you find more Druge and you fight with them. But then by the end, I was like, there's like 6 of us and I can't see any more. And there's all these Navari and none of them are you two. Just wanted to fight you guys.
At one point, there was like 10 or 15 Druge and about 30 Imperials. As we started to move out, it just thinned and thinned and thinned until there was like 10 Imperials, a huge gap. And then the rest of them, we were like, should we just stand here? And then we did. And then, it was getting pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Saw several people go down and then the line moving past them. And then obviously everyone's screaming, trying to get to them. But then the Druze would just keep moving forward. And it was like, holy shit. Someone ran to go save someone, got repelled back behind the line. It was, it was a brutal.
So chaotic.
Yeah, it was like the whole fight. Sorry?
I was just going to say, we had the most perfect and easy retreat.
We were in the woods.
Yeah. We were still at Top Gate. Like, honestly, this, I did not see any of this.
That's
it was
the thing,
great.
right? Fighting Druge in the woods, like,
I feel
it's rough.
Once you enter the woods, the battle becomes a degree or two harder.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting when you're fighting Jotun, because I think I really enjoy how the briefs do get enforced by how people monster, because when the Jotun fight in the woods, it's grim, but for everyone. When the Druge fight in the woods, it suddenly becomes worse. Like, it's like, because the way you manipulate the lands, like you're moving around, you don't let them take you and you drag them in.
Yeah.
whereas they
love
get when they're
that.
pushing us hard back. But yeah, it was,
I love that is reflected in gameplay.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how it happens because also there was the Imperials were pushing through the woods. And I was like, why are we all scattered? I'm like, oh, there's not enough of us. So if we just stay scattered, they can't do anything. They're just kind of trying to pull in, but there wasn't enough of them. But yeah, it was good stuff. Good fight. Really enjoyed it.
What about
Yeah,
you,
it
Tom?
was fun.
Did you enjoy being bad and bougie?
For the most part, yes. I won't call out the specific group, but I'm quite annoyed at Wintermark fighting. Point for number one, I was fighting with my halberd. One of them came up with a big shield, pinned my arm against me, and kept pushing, to which I was taking physical steps back.
That is allowed.
I don't know. It was quite hard. Like, I know you can block.
No, you can push.
Oh, fair enough.
If you put your shield on someone, you're allowed to walk with them.
Oh, fair
That
enough.
is actually like within the rules of the game. They can't hit you with the shield.
I've heard conflicting things with the shield thing.
Is there not like a limit to how much they can push someone back like that though?
It doesn't say so.
I know you've been pulled. Oh,
By the rules, you walk to make contact with them.
Yeah.
So as long as they didn't hit you with a shield, they're
Okay.
fine. And then they can just walk.
okay.
So
cool.
if you're unfortunately at that point,
barging into
your
the
choice is to either hold and try and push back or get out.
Okay, I apologise for that, Wintermarker. But the one that really wasn't on was one of my doors went down
Yeah.
and people were hitting them physically with the butts of the weapons.
Oh.
That one is not on at all. Be fucking better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
not good.
dangerous.
Yeah.
But other than that, the battle was quite fun. Like, respawning in. Well, fought for a bit, kind of poked with my halberd, running around. Stayed alive for about 20 minutes, which is quite a record time, really. Wintermark was pushing into the woods, so it was kind of hit them back, pull back, hit
Yeah.
them back. And eventually you kind of just run out of woods to pull back into.
Oh no, I'm at the spawn point. Whoops.
Oopsie daisy. So that was quite a bit of fun. Go back, debating whether I want to go out or not, or go back to town early, get a shower and whatnot. I was like, you know what? I'll go play again. Thought we were going to go back into the woods. No, we got put onto the main field to go and harass Wintermark in a fort, which was a lot of fun. I don't know how much they were meant to be guarding the fort, but it seemed like it was becoming a death donor inside the fort.
No.
Oh my god, that sounds dangerous.
Well, there was a couple of people that actually dragged out of the crush, like man downs, everyone kneeling, and I saw a few people being carried about 2 or 3. So
Oh.
looks like a couple of leg injuries happened, which it is a full contact sport. So
Yeah. It's one of
These
those
things are gonna happen.
As long as you're fighting safely, you should be fine.
Yeah.
I think the caveat with the shield pushing thing, because it is one of those things where it's like technically allowed but be sensible, is that I think if you are in like
I wasn't in a crush.
yeah, if you're like getting in physically injured, there's a problem of you about to fall over. I think it's perfectly valid to say stop. But again, a big part of it is just get out of there.
Well, I've learned something new. As a non-shield user, that's never come up.
Yeah,
before.
no, it's very. I've run into people
I
saying
was
it's.
like, I don't know if this is on brief or not.
Yeah, I've run into people saying it to me before, and I'm like, I'm not. I've checked with the ref, and they're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I've got something new I can do with my shield.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not like it's weird because it's like they don't encourage it, but also the rules say like
Yeah,
you can.
but
push
as long
with your
as you're
shield.
like making sure not to like, being careful that to not push them over and
Yeah,
like
exactly,
not barging
yeah.
into them.
Well, another rule I want clarifying as well is so if someone falls over due to the fact they fell over, loads of people tell me no, you've got to wait for them to get back up again. I'm like, I don't actually think that's true.
I mean, like maybe give it a beat to make sure they're not hurt.
Yeah, I think as
or-
long as they're
yeah.
out of character, okay, you can still attack. Because I've seen situations where people have died because that's happened. The ref has been like, no, keep going.
Yeah.
So I think, but it's, yeah, I got,
Yeah, be reasonable. Don't be whacking them
Yeah.
with the butts of your weapons or
yeah, exactly.
When they're
Over
down on
and
the
over
floor,
again.
dying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I'd always ask if someone fell over in front of me. I'd always
Yeah,
be like,
you
"Are you
good?
all you're right?" And it's like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,"
exactly.
then go hit them, but don't just
Yeah. Don't just be like, panel beat.
Yay, they fell over. This is my chance. Yeah.
But really, what does amaze me is how much of an impact even a few Drush can have surrounding the enemy. We were very outnumbered, but it felt like they were too hesitant to pull out.
It's really interesting because that happens a lot in all fights. I find is that I'll see like a line of 10 soldiers and then like maybe a handful of orcs, and you go up to them. It's like there's about 10 of us and 5 of them. Go. It's just like you push into it because the being psyched out
Yeah.
of like even a small amount can like really swing how you're going to fight.
Yeah. So I was pulling in, stabbing them up a bit, pulling out. Eventually, I get taken down, and one of them comes up and just goes execute. I'm like, not gonna die like that, love. You got to properly execute me.
Was that 5 seconds of appropriate roleplay? I don't think
To which
so.
one of my mates comes and like, stay with me. I'm like, fuck you, mate. I'm out of here. Go and get healed. You know how the fort has the little walls at the side? There's quite a few like small disjointed walls.
Famously on a fort.
Well, yes, but more than an average fort. Usually you have 4, but because it's Empire Fort, you've only got like tiny bits of wood.
Yeah.
So my favourite bit of the battle was playing whack-a-mole with winter markers, where I go, hide behind the wall, stab, go back. They start to stab me, I pull back, stabbing, which was a lot of fun, a bit of fishing. And basically that was it. I went running around on 1 hit point for a while because it's late battle, no one has any herbs left. Wintermark's coming around to kind of just finish off the orcs. So I think I'm the last one alive on the field. And there's one Wintermarker who I loved chasing me around the field and trees for about 10, 15 minutes. He'll
Benny Hill
stop.
music.
Like, I know I wasn't going to survive this, but it's like, okay, he's going away again. Start running at him again. Come back. Then running off. And then eventually it's like, you know what? I'll strike him down. Then he took me out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that
Did
was
you
kind
want
of-
to strike him down? Whack. Oh, they're bleeding out. Oh, their friends are gone. Oh, fuck. Never mind.
Toodles.
Toodaloo.
And that was kind of my battle. It was a fun Drugey one.
Yeah, I enjoyed being Druge.
I need to try another weapon. I love the halberd, but I feel like if I mix it up a bit, something.
Yeah, maybe I should get Ambi at some point. You have fun with Ambi, don't you, Chloe?
I was actually thinking that for monstering.
I do have fun being, yes.
I did it kind of, and now my watch begins with sword and knife, and it's just fun because you can do stuff with the other hand. Because it's like, this is mostly nothing. I can mostly do nothing with this, but if I get close enough, I've now got an extra weapon.
I did enjoy having a sword and shield at Now My Watch Begins when I was fenning,
Yeah,
because I've never done that before.
But nice, good stuff, good battle.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question about Ambi. So you know how it's like you get 1 hit point, like 1 of damage, like per source. If you had 2 swords, could you be 2 sources?
You can only deal 1 point of damage per second.
Was your
So per
pulling?
person,
So if you're whacking someone with 2 swords,
you're still only doing 1.
you're only doing 1
I
damage
did
per
have a lot
second.
of that whacking with little swords like a drum kit. I'm like, dudes,
That you're not supposed to do
That's
that.
not-
Yeah.
that's less than
not how you would
0.5
fight.
seconds. Yeah.
It's So basically, if one person is hitting you repeatedly with 2 swords, and you've got 5 hit points, you can stand there for 5 seconds and deal.
I think this is what I like about ILARP combat, like the cinematic roleplay of no
Yeah.
necessary hit points.
It's
People
what's
put
cool.
style in.
Yeah.
Exactly. There was one point where Dylan was down, and someone was just tapping him like he was a
I
a
hate it.
symbol.
I
He was like,
hate
ding, ding,
tippy
ding,
tap
ding, 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 ding,
fighting.
ding. I was like,
It's
that's
so
what is
annoying.
that?
I'm gonna hit you.
That just makes me think of when people are playing computer games and you could just hear the key tapping over and over
It's
again.
like trying to spam Dylan's death.
They say you shouldn't hit tap too quickly because it also confuses the person getting hit because it's harder to keep track of
Yeah.
how many hits you've taken as well.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do big heroic swings, and also when you do hero calls, interestingly, you are supposed to.
Act it out.
Excuse me. You are supposed to do a big heroic attack.
I was
You
just
can't
gonna
just
say,
go
that
cleave.
makes sense though.
Yeah.
With the cleave, you want to like be looking like you're
Yeah.
actually chopping someone's
So
leg off.
Yeah, exactly,
You can't
yeah.
just go cleave. And it's the same thing with like casting spells. You can't just go boop. You have to say a few words and then do it. But yeah, you have to look heroic whilst you do it.
Yeah, Steve's really good with his empowers because I can hear him I don't know he's there. Obviously, I'm facing forwards, but I'll just hear like, by the power of the Navarre or whatever he says, and I'm like, ooh, he's gonna touch me.
By the power of grace, by the power of Grayskull, tickles you with his rod.
And then the power, and I'm like, ooh, fully charged. But yeah, that was the battle. I would say it was very different from last event where we were all walking out with our heads
Yeah.
low. We had our heads held high and we were smiling. We're really proud of what we did. And then it was time to head back for a bit of a chill.
Well, we were walking back to camp and we were heading through and we could see some people sitting in our camp. I was like, oh, who's sat at our camp? Just curious. And I was like, oh, they look like leaguers. I was like, why is there leaguers in the camp?
You have a league problem, don't you?
We do have a
Lots
little
of
league.
feathers.
His
We
name's
have a league
Murdoch.
infestation. But no, we get to camp and who do I see? I see the Prince of the Reapers and a couple of other Reapers.
Oh, my boy Sikaro.
And everyone was like, oh, what are they doing here? And I literally out loud say, I think they're here for me. And Sikaro replies with, and what makes you think that, Neve? And I was like, I understand you've had a good chat with Murdoch. And he was like, I think I have. I was like, right, come on, get it over with. I'm tired. I've just come back from battle. I want to get de-kitted before standing. What are we doing? And they're like, come over here. Let's have a chat. So we. I was like, fuck.
Little talk.
I'm just.
Nothing worse than a little chat with the Reapers.
Worse things have
The
happened.
pussycats.
But yeah, so we have a little bit of a chat, and I get told a story about a mongoose that basically betrayed the loyalty of his other mongoose friend by crying wolf or something. I wasn't really listening. I was like, come on, get this over with. But the Reaper, the Prince of the Reaper, Sikro, is a very hospitable man. You know what I'm trying to say there.
Hospitable.
That's the word. Poured me some wine in my tankard. And it was very lovely. But it was then when I received my payback from Murdoch, which was a freezing brand. So, for anybody that doesn't know what a freezing brand is, it's winter magic, and it's a scar that when someone asks you how you got that scar, you are in immense pain until you get the words that are branded to the scar out your mouth. So I am now branded with the words, "This is for betraying the loyalty of my best friend Murdoch, and I reap what I sow." So anytime anybody asks me about my scar for the next year, I have to be in immense pain and say that.
Which was very funny when people were asking you and I pretended not to hear.
Yeah,
After someone else had just pretended not to hear.
yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't add sponsored by the Crimson Reapers.
I thought that was going to be added, but it wasn't, thankfully. But I did put my own little Neve twist on it as he was about to cut my face. I was like, well, hang on a minute. If anything's going to pierce my skin, it's not going to be that terrible thing in your hand. And pulled out my dagger and like, at least do it with this, will you?
Oh, the moxie. I love it.
I was like, go on, just get it over with. And they were like, Joe, you've been a really good sport. And I was like, yes, because I've just been fighting for my life for an hour.
Did he let you pick the cheek?
It's on my forehead.
Oh, fuck.
It's not even on a cheek. It's on my forehead.
I felt so bad when I saw it. I was like compulsive. I was just like, oh, what's it for? Why did you?
Yes. So that's going to be fun for the next year. So thank you, Murdoch.
I have to admit, though, I'm upset with Murdoch. I didn't see them being chilly.
No, that's. I didn't really see that.
I was in the Hall of Worlds with them, and I tell you what, they didn't look cold. They looked quite comfortable. So
That's newbie. That's rookie mistake.
yeah,
We'll have to remind Murdoch of that next time.
I expected
Or-
heat exhaustion.
I think you should bring a pack of ice cubes, and whenever you see him not being cold, just chuck one
Chuck him down his back.
Oh, you
little
look
ice
cold
packs.
now.
Or if he suddenly warms up a little bit, I think my scar might start healing over a little bit. It might start scabbing a bit, you know.
Well, it's caused a bit of a chain reaction because now I can't say to Murdoch, "Oh, Murdoch, you look a bit cold," without him then turning around if you're there and saying to you, "What's that scar for?" So I've started to stop not saying it to Murdoch anymore.
But that's what was waiting for me after battle,
treat.
and then
Speaking of league problems at your camp, what did you think of my decorations I brought before time?
Oh God, there were jackdaw posters fucking everywhere, like every tree.
They looked like they were like
wanted posters.
No, it was like when you're at the urinal, there's like an advert. It was like head height. I was like, if you're pissing on that tree, it's just looking at the jackdaw.
I mean, appropriate place for a jackdaw poster.
I just wanted
The-
to go. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put these in the places no one's ever going to bother going to for the
Do you know,
law.
it's
right in the
first-
back of the Navarre Woods.
This is the first event where your poster lasted the whole event. At my
Really?
camp, because I couldn't. I kept seeing it. I was like, I'm too busy to remove.
Yeah, yours stayed up at the Dread Shields camp for the whole event too.
Next time it's going to be kindling, I guarantee you that.
That's fair. The goal next year is one poster for every tree.
My time in tradition is typically to remove it and throw it on the fire, but I didn't have a chance.
As a
this time.
tradition, but you missed poster quest last time, so I thought I'd bring it back.
Yeah, you made up for it this event.
You
Don't
did.
worry.
So to talk about a dear friend quickly, you've mentioned about keys getting thrown
Yes.
back into the fight after they were terminal.
Just make sure you check out their story at Larp Noobs, because I'm sure they can fill it in a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm waiting for their episode to drop.
Yeah,
Hopefully
where is
it'll
it,
be-
Millie?
Hopefully
I
it'll
was
be
shaking.
soon. Yeah, their pre-lap's awesome. So I just come back from battle, sat down, and was thinking about getting us some lunch, and I saw Keys walking through the market and like hobbling. He had his stick, he had bandages and stuff all over him. And I was just a bit busy and thinking about stuff. And he spoke to me and I asked like, how you doing? Are you all right? And I didn't cotton on to the fact that he'd mentioned that he was terminal. He had said it, but it just didn't click in my mind. So I was like, oh, well, we'll get you a healer. You'll be fine. Patted him on the back and walked off.
What an Otis healing Otis motivational.
I know. And I felt
Motivation.
so bad afterwards when I was like, oh, terminal. Right. Gotcha.
No, I remember when I spoke to him about it, and he was talking about, oh yeah, me and Agni, we keep we're a bit injured now, but I keep saying I want to make her a favourite soup when we get back. I don't know why she keeps crying.
Yeah, it was so sad because obviously he was acting as though he wasn't sure exactly what was going on. So it was very sad, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And then a shout out to, and I can't remember what their business is called, but we went over to the pie and mash place just to see what they had.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah, for a post battle feed, and they didn't have any pie. Oh, they did have some pie and mash, but they had another option, which was called a stabby box.
Ooh,
What's
Stabby
a
meal.
box?
Oh, a stabby meal. So it's like a play on a Happy Meal. You get it was a banging chicken pesto sandwich.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was so good. A little chorizo cheese wheel thing. Try saying that 10 times. And what else was it?
There was a little cake.
A little cake, a little banana muffin thing.
And a little prize.
And a toy.
And you got a toy.
Oh, that sounds great. That's
And it was
good
only like,
value.
what are you laughing at, Morgan? I think this is a great idea.
What was yours again?
So my toy, which I was very to have after a very bloody battle, my toy was it was a dangly for my kilt, a little green thing.
I got a cat.
Yeah.
I got an adopted cat from the marchers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was so happy.
What are you chuckling at?
So funny.
It was so cool. And it was a really
Stabby
good
meal.
lunch. I think
How
it
much
was
was it?
like £2.
2 crowns, yeah.
I went because I really wanted the stabby meal, but the veggie option was falafel and hummus, and I'm not a massive fan of falafel, but they did have a vegan pie, which was like a spiced lentil curry like pie. Oh,
I heard
so
about that,
good.
yeah, it was meant to be good.
Yeah, and I had one of the like the veggie sausage rolls as well, and their food was so good.
It's so funny how you would like. It was like £2. That's so funny because that's just so much money for me. Yeah.
Luckily, I'd sold a bit. Was I selling mead this event?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the bacon mead sold better than the chocolate orange mead.
Fucked up.
But I don't know
Fucked
if it
up.
was as well
Perverts.
received. A couple tried the bacon mead and were like, oh. But other people tried it and said that it was absolutely delicious. So we were able to spend our money on stabby meals.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So I was only £2. I'm like, oh, oh, nice.
that
good.
must be nice.
My player pack had less than £1 in it.
My play pack had over a throne in this time.
Well, as I say, I was at the pie shop as well, and I was sat with Daisy and waiting, and I was like reached into my bag, realised there was something in there. I pulled it out, I took them by the hand, placed it gently in their hand, closed their fingers, and they looked at me like, you fucker.
I know exactly what this is.
Tiny frog.
Oh,
It was a little frog.
I did that to cricket as well, but it was a little mushroom with happy eyes.
That must be why when you gave them the mushroom, they were like, this better not be a fucking frog.
Ah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
David
Right.
loves frogs.
I did it again because I found a little slip of paper from Smutty Nuts from like the last summer in my bag, and I was like, do it again. She's like, better not be a frog.
But then we were getting some prep done, weren't we? Because we had a little place we had to be at.
Yes. We had to be at the Glory Square for 3:30 because there was Randall's Panto at 4, and we wanted to make sure that we were there on time because not only were we there to watch it,
We were in it, which was a lot of fun.
I was so excited for this.
Yeah, well, Chloe, I didn't know it was a secret for a while, but Chloe wanted to keep it as a secret for the Dread Shields. So they'd just rock up, and then I would come out from behind backstage with a dress and a wig on. Thank you for the dress and wig, Kerry and Tom.
Yeah,
You're welcome for the wig.
It's my favourite dress. I feel so sleek and sexy in it.
Yeah. You utilised the wig for the rest of the event.
the fact that you wore it.
I claimed it was. I was that moved by the play. I claimed it was Randall merch, and because it's Hot Merc Summer, I had to look my best.
Yeah, you did. You were
Dashing.
definitely a hot merc.
It was one of the looks of all time.
If you guys want to see Hot Merc Summer, check out the part 1 thumbnail where you'll see Tom fully dressed up in his wig. But no, I think the panto went really well.
Oh, it was fucking
It was
fantastic.
amazing.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying earlier, it's the first time I think as a group we have been in the same spot since we
Yeah.
started in 2021, was it when it started again?
Yeah, it will have been. Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In time in. That is
At
the
time in.
only time all 5 of us have
I've
been together.
Yeah, I didn't even see Morgan actually.
I did.
Yeah,
I
he
could
was-
see Morgan
he
from where
was
I was
there.
stood because he was
I
stood
kept
at the
catching.
side.
I kept catching Chloe's face as you were getting changed. And I was like,
I know. I kept just looking at you like,
"That's so
I have
funny."
to say the highlight of the play was around the Empire
Yeah,
song.
That was
with the
really
green
Yeah,
changes.
that was great.
I was in awe. I was like, is she gonna
Yeah.
make it? Is she gonna make it? What's the impression gonna be? Oh, loved it.
a lot of people loved a bit of an accidental boo-boo by me.
Yeah.
I was like, when you didn't know where your line was.
And it was just, yeah.
I know, but it just that sort of thing seems almost staged because it's that perfect a joke
Yeah.
to not know your line and then for it to just be yes.
The fact, honestly, the fact that it wasn't staged made it funny for us, not just
Yeah.
funny for you
Yeah.
guys. Like, whether it was staged or not.
If it was staged, it would have looked more obvious and more
Yeah.
awkward, but like it feels like it's on purpose. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't seem stupid, it seems funny. You
That's
know?
Yeah.
It's because I was on the wrong page because it was at the point where Cinderella had slapped Randall, but like I think she actually slapped him, or like so I was just like, "Are you okay?" The guy that was playing Randall was like, "Yeah, like I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." Luckily, it worked in panto as well.
Yeah.
But and then when I came back, like we'd flipped over the page, and I didn't think that I had any more lines because my last line was just the word yeah, so it just hadn't registered that it was in my head that was a line. And then there was just a big silence, and it was you, Alex, that nudged me and pointed to the air. I went, "Oh, yeah." It's just like, "Oh shit, okay."
It just looked great. I loved
Yeah.
it.
But it was really good. Like mad respect to the guys that had written it
And
all
put it
the-
together, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever put it on again?
Oh, I reckon so.
'Cause
So
I'll come and see it again. It was
yeah,
great.
Randall's already got some things in the pipeline for what he wants to do next time. But it went down really well, and big props to the crowd for getting stuck in and interacting
Oh yeah.
with
Doing
us
the
as well.
ahas.
Aha! I got threatened with a curse for one of my lines that was quite derogatory towards Cinderella. One of the orcs off to the left was like, "I'll curse you."
I fucking love the heckling
Oh my
orcs.
God.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
They
so
were
good.
so funny.
I was waiting
Yeah.
to see what they'd do when
Yeah.
the orc bit when
So,
you know when they round down
Throughout the whole thing, they were heckling, and when we were doing the Around the Empire bit, and it got to the orcs, and it was just piss off. They literally went, "Fair."
I love them saying, "Oh, that's not Randall. That's a fucking imposter. Where's Randall?"
Yeah.
I loved it.
I do
but
love because I wasn't expecting Randall to be played by
someone else. That was the funny part about it. But honestly, I just want to say, so obviously Randall, but Albert, Dan, Kelsey, Lucy, and Poppy absolutely knocked it out the park.
Yeah,
Just
100%,
fantastic.
yeah.
fantastic. Like the effort that they all put in.
Yeah.
So good. We just turned up.
And we were worried that there weren't going to be all that many people there, considering the time and that it was just before a wedding and stuff. But apparently, someone counted for us, and there were about over 200 people there.
Yeah, and that's during the Navari fashion show as well. Which is
Exactly,
quite-
yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, it went down really well.
Yeah. Glad I went. I'd go again. I'd go again every event if I could.
But then we had to rush off. So, obviously, the Panto crew were having some celebratory drinks at Wise Guys afterwards, but we had to run off because we had a funeral to attend. So, the vibe had to change dramatically from silly, silly fun times to serious,
Somber, somber
serious,
fun.
sad times.
Sad times.
That's
But
the
we'll that is the one. But we'll get to that after. What was everyone else doing?
What were you doing, Morgan? I believe you were testing, weren't you?
I was what was it? I was, I was helping somebody pass their test of metal. So a friend of mine is aspiring to go from knight errant to earl And in order to do this, she is gaining the favour of many houses of Dawn. And once she's done so, she will become an earl of her new house. The challenge that she had been set was a game of capture the flag. So she had to retrieve a flag from the house of who she was trying to win the favour from. The rules were that we were all permitting assault, so we couldn't levy any fines against each other if we were to get assaulted. You were not allowed to commit the crime of what's it called?
Tax evasion.
No, Massaglian.
Cassandra?
No, there's a crime where you can't attack healers, and I can never remember how to say it. So you basically, people were allowed to get healed. You weren't allowed to attack healers for that. You weren't allowed to attack anybody that wasn't involved. There was a group of us versus a group of their supporters. So we were like a scattering of Dornish. We had an Imperial Orc, we had some Freeborn, and we had a Navari. And we were against some Dornish, a Marcher, and a Wintermarker. And essentially, the objective was one team went up to the Marchers with their banner, and we had to go to get them. So we were very much like, a lot of us were heavily armed, and we're like, right, we're going to begin the slow trudge up towards the Marchers. So I was standing next to the Imperial Orc, and we were walking along, and we're just kind of chatting because we can't see them yet. And then we hear, dum, 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 dum. And I'm like, what? They go, before we can turn around, between us appears one of the Wintermarker and just cleaves both of our legs as they run past and sprints on. And we're like, both of us get our legs ruined. As that's going on, we're kind of like, using Relentless to get our leg back, and we see them starting to fight at the other side. And I know this guy's got a lot of unstoppables. So he's like wailing around, trying to smack us, we're all trying to bring him down. And I bring up my trusty sword, Dark Light, and I run up to him just as before he cracks out an unstoppable, and I'm like, weakness! And he's like, oh, fuck. Boom, 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 goes down. Then we sprint up the hill, and I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted already. Start running up the hill, trying to find this flag. We get all the way to the top, past the Marchers, towards almost like, so we go up. We were running kind of amongst, like, past up through the league, round the back. Everyone kept screaming, like, what's going on? And we're like, it's fine, we're consenting to this. So we're, like, beating each other up. Then there is a one of their team is a wizard. So we're like, oh dear, who keeps coming within range. But I've got Viridian on my team who ends up shattering their kind of staff. So we beat them to the ground. I have a really good moment with a friend of mine. Both of us are knight errants, where we kind of just slam into each other, because I get my up to them, and we're just stabbing each other on the back, and it's like a race to zero. It's like ah. So then I'm looking pretty fucked up. It's like, right, keep going. We see the banner being taken away. We're like, where, trying to get to where it is. There's some great pictures in the street of me and a freeborn kind of pointing to where the banner has to go. We find either the Earl of the house that my friend is challenging, or her, have to be in the glory square with the banner. So all we really have to do is stop the Earl from getting to the glory square. So we see him, and we're like, fantastic, run towards, someone cleaves his leg, and then we just stand between him and his allies. So then they're trying to track down the banner. Then we start to make our way towards the glory square, and I see Hugh Farrier, played by Harry Knight.
Oh, Harold K. Knight.
Who has been on the podcast before. And he's got this big old polearm, and he's having a whale of a time striking people down on the ground. But once again, something people really don't like is when you stop them doing that. Weakness! I've never seen a man's face turn to rage so quickly in my life. He just was like, right, come here, you. And there's some excellent pictures of us. Great pictures. Unfortunately, right where the skips were.
Oh, no.
So it's just the two of us scrapping by the bins.
Are you sure that wasn't time out?
Scrapping by the bins, trying to kind of like beat each other down. And then we find, someone says the banner is in the glory square. We just need to get, the person leading our team there. So we start to run up. As we get up, my shield gets shattered by this kind of the bloody enchanter that I'd attacked earlier. And we can see, and eventually, finally, our team member gets in, grabs the banner, and we win. And it was like a really cool moment.
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh, it was excellent. Awesome. I love tests that are dramatic and they're kind of going everywhere and stuff.
So if you had a race for a testamental, you should have come to us. We did so well with it for you.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't my test.
You could have been like, well, I happen to know some
Do you
people.
want us to get 20 people involved?
20 scary, big as fuck Nefari that would just stop anything.
But yeah, really cool, really good fight. Very much enjoyed it. And that was kind of the end of the test. And there was some confusion as to the rules that were followed there. But that's, I guess, another story. But nonetheless, we won the challenge. And then the only other thing that happened was I was hunting down the Glory Helm because as I mentioned last episode, I needed to find the Glory Helm and take it on an adventure. So step one of that is to find the Glory Helm. I'd seen it at the Dufrost camp, but it was now gone. And I went into a pub and I saw, sitting on the desk, the Glory Helm. I was like, good. And I went up and I picked it up and I turned to the bartender and said, what's the rules of this game? And they looked at me and went, give me the helmet back and I'll tell you. I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm going to keep this. I was like, look, it's fine. I'll buy a drink whilst I'm here. Fantastic drinks. And I felt really bad because they were like really high alcohol drinks, but I was ready for like, a cheapest drink. I was ready to pay like, 6-7 rings for a small glass. But it was like really nice, high percentage alcohol.
Yeah.
It was like a Crown a drink. And I was like, the Crown? And they were like, oh, it's homemade. It's really nice. I'm like, no, I'm not saying it's overpriced.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just,
not saying it's not worth it.
Yeah,
I'm just poor.
I have 5 rings in my pouch. I was like, I'm really sorry. Left with the helmet. Took the helmet with me and then technically broke the rules. You're not allowed to use this against me in character because
You don't know.
this.
Yeah.
But I strapped the helmet to my belt. And people were like, that's against the rules. I'm like, I don't care. I need this for my test.
An Imperial war.
I need my helmet. I need the helmet for my test of metal.
I got to wear the helmet.
Yes.
You and you wear it.
And I also bought a poison.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
But that's a secret tool that will be important later.
Please don't poison me.
Really enjoyed when the orc tried to steal the helmet from you.
I just got full on wrestled outside of Wise Guys. And this helmet's strapped to my belt, and this orc starts coming towards me. I'm like, no. And just went to grab my helmet. And
Oh, I bloody love the orcs.
Basically, I felt like we were in like is it like a rock in like rugby? Just like shoulders together. And then I just hear the jackdaws like,
Me and Modesto. Me and Modesto have been having a drink at Wise Guys, having an afternoon off. It's like, oh, we'll save you, Tristan. Oh, buddy, this is loyalty. It's like, well, he was rugby tackling you, so we kind of latched onto him.
Just like a scrum, just kind of like outside Wise Guys. And I was like, they can't take the helmet. It's literally strapped to my belt.
I wish someone got a photo.
Oh, that was very
ridiculous.
Funny. We did like a little OC check-in afterwards. I was like, you good? Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. Then I watched your wonderful pantomime. So that more, help someone with their testamental, do part of the testamental. Bought a poison and stole the helmet.
Words.
Nice.
In that time, you might have heard, we've opened a bar.
Oh, no, I had no idea.
Yes, we have opened a bar.
When did you get a bar?
Sing the theme tune.
Oh, on laughter we pour.
That's not the theme tune. That's just the phrase. Come on, the jingle.
We don't have a jingle.
Oh, I was hoping you'd ad lib.
We had a jingle with the hens, but now it's the bird bar, so I have to write a new one.
Yeah. So part of the idea was to prevent our beloved friends, the Reapers, coming down and just buying the bar, like I imagine they would do as time in. James, who plays Raga, who's the owner, has come up with the idea that we can buy stock. The Jackdaw Carter can buy stocks and shares in the bar. So I have bought 5 shares in my pub.
Excellent.
So
Lovely.
now Nietzsche has entered the game of passive income.
Very prosperous. I have stocks too, just because I gave James some money for some booze, and I was like, "It's okay," and he was like, "Stocks."
So I was wondering, like, when I got home, I was like, I'm usually only ever spend what I get in my character pack. Where's my money gone? Oh yeah, I spent a throne and a bit on stocks. Hooray! So,
Is investing in a pub prosperous? Because it's not
It
your,
depends if you spend the money that you earn.
but it's not your hard work.
Well, it is, because I work in the pub.
That's not his work.
Actually, no, I don't work in the
It
pub.
has helped-
I walk around and talk about the pub, and
But this is my.
it has helped Raga pay off his large debt.
But this is a question for in character. But I would make the argument that that's not prosperous because you are making money off not your own work.
But the tent, it is in our camp.
But you buy shares, you're like an investor, so it means that like if you don't put money in, then the person who's like running the bar can't afford to buy
The alcohol.
things as much.
Yeah, it helps the business. That would be prosperous,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
I don't know. I will save it for. I think there's a debate there.
I see where you're coming from because people in the real world don't invest to help a business.
Yeah,
really.
you invest to
They
make
to
money.
get your money
Well,
back,
the jackdaws do want the business to remain.
I'm going to maintain that as long as you spend the money that you earn and don't just hoard it in bank accounts, in your coin purse, then it's prosperous because prosperity is as much about spending money as it is about earning it.
Yeah.
I'm going to meditate on this. And then I'll speak to the Cardinal of Prosperity and be like, hey, is the stock exchange a prosperous endeavor?
I am also planning of working at the bar. We do need more staff.
Yeah, to be fair, we like if it's all jackdaws and like family, because it's the family business, so all the family have stocks. I think it's just jackdaws other than that, so it's not like it's an open market kind of thing.
Jackdaws and Cameo.
Cameo's family. Cameo's my sister.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
So Cameo's got the same amount of shares as me because, family.
It's opened up an interesting
also-
question
Yeah,
now.
like, very much like because I don't know. I will
Don't
discuss-
call me a heretic, Morgan.
No. I'm not saying it's unprosperous. I'm saying it's not prosperous. I'm not making the argument that it makes you it makes you an unvirtuous person. I'm just making the argument.
It doesn't make you
Yeah,
virtuous.
it doesn't make you virtuous because you're not being prosperous. You're not striving from your own labour. You're not. Interesting.
It's
I
like-
will speak to some prosperity
Okay,
priests.
so maybe the way you're earning money isn't gaining you prosperity, virtue, whatever, but the way you spend that money.
Yeah, you could argue that the spending it is.
Is the
Although I would. We can't. We'll discuss that.
Yeah,
we'll
you know
take
what?
up too much time with
We'll do a whole episode on prosperity.
virtue
It's fine.
philosophy, but we'll speak to a prosperity priest.
We had a lovely winter marker who was camping in our camp with Rob because we are a multi-nation camp where people will stay in the tents and then leave in the morning and scatter. They made some delicious chicken grain stew. Absolutely phenomenal. I very rarely eat hot food, not from the trader at Empire, so having food with actual nutrients in was, oh my god, what is this?
It makes a difference. It really does.
That was lovely. What else did I? Had the usual issue of playing the merc game as well of, we want to hire the jackdaws for a mercenary contract for a skirmish. Now, this is great. Love being hired. Don't like the price changing a lot. Not for the prospect of I don't like people to haggle, but every time the price changes, I have to go and then track down all the troops that want to go on it and say, look, the deal has now changed. If it was you were just playing a normal player, yeah, go out, fight for free, whatever, that's the game. But playing mercenaries, like, look, they agreed to a start off paying us 6 crown a head. It went to they're paying us nothing, which went up to they're paying us 4 crowns a head, then down to 2 crowns a head. That's a lot of tracking jackdaws down, telling them the deals have been altered, then them getting rightly like, right, the deal's been changed too many times, we don't want to go. Because from 6 crowns to 2 crowns a head is a lot of money. And like I say, once the jackdaws scatter, they're very hard to find again. So
See, I don't understand why you didn't get this all down in ink and paper.
usually I'd like to, but they didn't
Word,
find
see,
me first.
this is where the freeborn have got the edge.
Oh, we do have pre-written contracts.
No, but that's what I'm saying, because the freeborn are all like, I'm not saying yes to anything until it's written in
Yeah,
blood.
generally we do that.
Yeah.
But with skirmishes, because they're such in a hurry, like you look at you like, gotta
Sure,
answer now,
yeah,
and then run off. So we are going to deal with piece of paper. OCS said he came to us like, right, are you actually interested in going in contracts? Yes. No, skirmishes. Yes, we are. But for one, we'd get pissed off at being bounced from the gate each time. It's a long time to get armoured. Last season, we were bounced out of 3 or 4 skirmishes.
Sure.
After getting to armour. 2, as I say, playing the merc brief, please just give us a price that you're going to open with and be happy with.
Yeah, I was
Every
gonna say,
time
yeah.
the game, every time you change the deal, I have to then go and find the numbers, and that's making it harder work for you because you want those numbers to be at the gate, and then you wonder why aren't those numbers at the gate? Well, I couldn't find anyone, or the last minute change their minds.
Yeah, sure.
So if you ever want to hire a mercenary company, guys, just come to us with a number you're comfortable to pay, and we will drum together the troops. And yes, I will be bringing out my pre-written contracts to carry everywhere.
Nietzsche now has contracts to talk to him. How long will this last?
One of the compliments I did get on the field is, my God, Nietzsche, when someone tries to sell you something, you just breeze right past them. You do not give them the time of day.
No, I'm the same. I'm like, I don't have time. I have potions to buy. I have magic items to purchase. I do not have time.
I have 18 rings to my
I have
name.
18 rings. I don't have time for your soap. Leave me.
I'm also, like I say, I'm a bitter old prince, has no time for cakeonomics.
I was gonna say I've managed to bypass that because I'll get the cold shoulder when I say, "Oh, chocolate orange mead." I'm like, no thanks. And then I'll say as they're walking away, "Bacon mead," and they were like, "What?"
You just see their ears visibly perk
Yeah.
up.
So I don't get breezed off very much anymore now with the bacon mead.
It was last summer that me and another Carter were having like a proper adult talk to sort out contracts relating to a dead player and all that. And this was like dead serious. Like, we got to work this out, make sure each party's happy. Every fucking brownie salesman at Anvil comes up to us like, "You want a brownie? You want a brownie?" No, we don't fucking want a brownie right now. Please. But like, just to finalise my point on the contracts, I am fucking glad I did not order my troops to go out on them. 3 people went on their own volition because it was Sarvos and they wanted revenge against the Sieka Heralds. Thankfully, all the fuckers came back, which I was really worried about because that was a deadly skirmish. Hence, 6 crowns ahead for that one. Golem will go. 2 crowns, not enough. And I'm fucking glad I didn't send anyone else because 6 of my friends in the Reapers died in that skirmish.
Oh, there was that one.
That one.
Rough.
That's why danger money, a good thing. I was literally devastated and ran back to the camp once I heard 6 Reapers are dead to find out are all my troops still alive, including my dear boy Kostia and the lovable Dave. 2 for 2 for getting eaten by sharks.
The lovable Dave.
At least he's consistent with his character deaths. But I am like Radek was in our camp at one point, and he'd hung his very majestic hat up in camp, but it was on Sophie's staff. Like, it was hanging off, like, because she had it propped up, and so obviously the base was down and like the top bit was up, and that's what he'd hung his hat on. And it's a very heavy hat, and I didn't want it to like bend her staff or anything like OC. So I was just like, "Dear Radek," that I went over to him. I was like, "Oh, dear Radek, you are always very welcome in our camp, as you know, and we love to host you. But if you could please not use our major's staff as your hat stand, we would be very appreciative." And he was like, "I'm not in the mood." I kind of walked off and was like, "Oh, well, what's good? His knickers in a twist." And then I heard the news about the 6 Reapers dying.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be that.
That'll
then.
do it.
Yeah, there was a lot of veteran players. Like, one of them was the Silver Wolf who was one of the best fighters in the Empire. Just gone. Siaka Heralds, folks.
Yeah.
Don't mess around with
deadly.
them.
Dangerous.
Yeah, like Joe and I did have like a little check-in. He was like, "Oh, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. Like, I hadn't pissed you off." And I was like, "Oh no, like it's good. Like, I know it was all
In
icy."
character, yeah.
I was like, and I didn't realize like what had actually happened. I was like, so it just makes it a bit funnier icy. But yeah, we had like a little check-in. It was all groovy, but
Check-in's big and smart.
They are.
Always do a check-in.
Well, yeah, on that bombshell, I reckon we'll call it. But next week, we'll have a lot to talk about. We're going into the outstanding Gerald Ashbourne,
Gerald.
Gella Ashbourne's funeral telling, as it's known, I see. And the rest of Saturday's shindigs into Sunday.
Yeah. I believe you have a 5-star review to read out, Mr. Morgan.
Oh my goodness. Abbott's Retreat 3377 on YouTube. 5 stars.
Hey.
Well, actually, sorry. 5-star emojis. 5 stars.
What
All
a
different
treat.
star emojis as well. I know this isn't a Q&A episode, but since Morgan is contractually obliged to read 5-star comments, I'm going to ask one anyways. What is the easiest nation to have basic kit for?
Navarre.
As a person who will be eventually joining you for an event from Canada, baggage space is severely limited.
Navarre?
yeah. First of all, mad journey that.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Amazing. I hope it's worth the trip.
I'd love to make the journey that way to do Biker Line at some point.
Yeah.
Which is their like big LARP.
I want to go to Germany to play some of their larps.
Yeah. So I had a couple of Navars.
Yeah, I'd probably say Navarre.
See, I asked a couple of my friends of this, and somebody pointed out Dawn. And it's only if you're not taking into account armor, because armor is going to be very heavy to bring over, right? Irrelevant
Yeah.
of anything. Unless you get aluminium chainmail, which is really light, you could get that in your case. But Dawn, someone was like, all you need for Dawn, pair of trousers, larp shirt, tabard. And I was like,
Yeah.
do you know what? That's actually very
You don't
true.
even need that for Navarre.
Yeah.
You just need a pair of brown trousers,
Green
green
shirt.
tunic.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Yeah.
I'd say Wintermark's pretty easy off the peg as well.
See, I was thinking marchers because I know they've got some.
yes.
I know they've got a lot of like elaborate kit, and their kit is absolutely incredible a lot of the time. But
You could absolutely get away with being real.
pair of
simple.
trousers, pair of charity shop brown trousers, and a white shirt.
Tunic.
So the only thing I'd say about that is like trousers are off brief for the marches.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So in the marches, you're supposed to wear hose and brays. And it's also for a while pockets were off brief for the marches. Like it has one of the more stringent kit briefs.
But there tends to be a lot of reenactors in the march.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd say with the march. I think it's almost like the marcher kit brief is like strict because it's like reenactors. You've got all this really cool kit. Use it. But I don't know. I think the thing is as well. We were discussing this. Is that every nation has got like very entry level kit. The groups with lower entry kit have just
Kind
started.
of hard.
But I don't think the marchers. I think everyone in the marchers is a hardcore LARPer. I've never seen low effort marcher kit. Everyone's always put their whole ass into it. Dawn, I've seen low effort kit. Navarre, Wintermark, not the league actually.
The league's brief is everywhere.
I'd say
seen
the
low
league
effort league,
might be the most difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just need a separate suitcase just for your
yeah.
hat.
I think the league's
And
the
your wig.
hardest.
Yep.
I think Dawn is like both the easiest, but also like towards the hardest if you want to do the proper
The most
noble
sort of
stuff.
Aspirational, I suppose.
Yeah.
You start quite low and build up from there.
Yeah.
If you're willing to hit up charity shops, Brass Coast is quite
Yeah.
easy possible.
Yeah, but it's I guess it's in terms of packing, right? And I think
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
from a layer perspective, I would probably say Navarre,
Yeah.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Wintermark.
I disagree with
No,
it.
I think Mark, you want a lot of furs and things.
I don't
I-
know. You don't need the furs if you're starting off as like a house.
But I don't. I
No,
think
but
it's
if you want to be recognisably
yeah. You want to look
True.
like your nation. I think if you don't, Wintermark. A lot of Steiner already get confused for other nations. I think
Yeah.
if you want to get recognised as your nation,
True.
Wintermark's hard.
Navarre, green tunic.
Yeah.
as Chloe
Yeah.
would say.
yeah,
Yeah.
Navarre's probably the
Some
easiest.
leaf motifs,
Yeah.
war paint as well, right? Like a lot of
yeah,
Navarre
exactly,
kit is the
tattoos.
makeup,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
tattoos.
true, yeah.
And I think actually for armor, if you are willing to go mage armor,
Yeah.
super light kit. I've got a belt. I drew runes on my beak, and I've got what else do I have? Oh, I've got some braces
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I've drawn runes on as well. And it's literally, I took a picture of my armor compared to Tom's massive armor bag.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Navarre, easiest base kit to kind of get down,
Yeah.
then probably Dawn. But I get you need to think about packing like coming that far, but equally it's whatever brief appeals to you the most.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
Do-
like you can find a way to do it.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like whatever nation that you pick, you'll find a way to make it work for you. So yeah, take into account easy kit, but do what you want to do. Like this is a place for you to be what you want and how you want. Like just do what you want.
And there are
It's a
some
nation on brief.
yeah, there are some base kits that cross nations as well, where you could throw something on top of it that would completely change what nation you're in.
Yeah.
So if you're not sure,
So like Navarre base kit, but then throw a tabard over at your Dawn.
I think that's it, right? You want a basic kit of LARP trousers, LARP shirt, which you can get. I don't know what it's like in Canada. There's loads of online providers for that kind of thing.
Amazon.
Yeah.
If you've got
but-
a budget, you can buy things on Traders Row when you're here.
Yeah. But LARP shirt, LARP trousers, and then what you put on top of that is really going to change it. So, like you said,
Yeah.
you could put a tabard. You could honestly, with that and a fancy hat, you could be league-ish. It's not. You wouldn't be the best, but
I
you could
think
do it.
bring a mask.
A mask,
Easy to transport.
yeah.
bring a cabbage, could be a marcher.
Yeah, just stand there with your cabbage, and everyone knows exactly
Just
where
for the
you're
love
from.
of Lord, please don't use Wish.
I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as long as you look in character enough that you're not breaking people's immersion,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose like being really like obviously Wintermark or obviously Navarre isn't like if you can't afford it or if you can't afford like manage to travel, you don't want to spend all this money investing in something that you're coming that far for,
Yes.
and you might not come like you might find it's not worth it. Hopefully you don't feel that way, but as long as you look in character enough that no one's going to be like, oh look, he's wearing a Man City t-shirt.
Yeah, but also
I'm not sure why you'd be wearing a Man City.
I guess it's like if you are between 2 or 3 nations and your deciding factor is easiest kit, that's giving you some
Yeah.
idea of what to
Yeah.
go on, I
Yeah.
guess.
And if you want to come to Navarre, you can hang out with us.
Yeah.
What was I was going to say one more thing? I can't remember what it is. Never mind.
That was a good answer to the question.
Yeah, I think
Very
so.
extensive answer, so you're
It was.
welcome.
I'm very curious to know what everyone else thinks. So if you want to get in touch, let us know. Because I'm
Yeah,
curious
drop
as to
it in the
what people
comments.
think. Is that everything? Is there anything else?
Patreon, usual shebang.
Before I do the rounding off. Cool.
No.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. We will be back next time at talking more about the rest of Saturday on E3. Maybe squeezing in Sunday, but that might be another episode as well. As always, thank you to our wonderful patrons for helping to keep the light on. And if you want to join our wonderful patrons, you can find us on Patreon at
It's a
Fable.
singular light now. We're really struggling.
The lighthouse is powering down.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. We're having to get Tom on the bike, charging up.
With his no bones.
Yeah, his only break is when we record. He's getting back on soon.
Just imagine him slumped in a hamster wheel.
Just like a slime ball just squelching down.
Just a can of iron brew to keep me motivated.
A really easy way to support us as well is if you've not been to Empire, you can get £15 off your first ticket by using the discount codes in the episode description below, which will also give us £15 off.
Please.
But please like, share, subscribe, tell everyone about the podcast. And we look forward to telling you the rest of our weekend. And also, oh my God, I just want Empire now. I can't.
Please now.
Me and Chloe are dying.
Like we've been messaging for like the past week, like, oh my God, I hate life. I want to be there.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And we will see you next time.
Bye,
Goodbye.
friends.
Bye.